Beau Hannam guitars and ukuleles. In this video I'm going to be talking about and reviewing the new StewMac Deluxe fret Tang nippers. And spoilers, they're excellent and you should just buy them. But watch the rest of the video to find out why. Bam. The new StewMac bound fingerboard fret Tang remover. Nice, so this is the old one and you can see the size of the new one, and it comes with another plate which I'll go into later. So this is the tool that's needed to cut off a little bit of the tang of the fret in order to place it in a bound fingerboard. So the fret is usually like this, actually from the side looks like a mushroom, and from the side the tang is like that. The tang is this part here. So for a bound fingerboard, which I have one here, normally on just a normal factory guitar, you can see the ends of the tang, but on a good quality instrument or a high quality instrument that's bound, or I suppose you could have a really cheap instrument with a bound fingerboard, the fret tang sits in a pocket, and the tang, well, the crown, which is this part, so tang and crown, I'll just refer to this as crown, it's not quite accurate, but that'll do. That rests on top of here. So in order to do that, you have to cut away this part. So the side profile, this is the crown, and then the tang gets cut away this much. And this much depends on how wide your binding is and the purfling and stuff like that. So this is what I've done earlier. You can see what I'm talking about there. That's how it works. So with the old fret Tang nipper, the crown sits in here, and this gets cut off, and then there's a little bit of residue there. You can see, by residue I just mean it sort of cuts off a bit too much here and then not quite enough here. And then you have to file this down manually. This one, it's a different system. So you can see this area just here, that's where half the crown will sit. So in there like that. And then pinch. And then that's a better result because there's residue there, but it's an even amount, and there's not like too much on one end and not enough taken off on the other end. And by end I mean like this is a 1/8 of an inch, 3 mil or something. It can be as long as you want actually. So these are far superior. So you can set a depth to this, which is an excellent, really, really smart idea. Whoever came up with that deserves a raise. Where is it? So it comes with an Allen key, or whatever you call it in America, Allen wrench. So you can undo that, slide this to the left or right, and then you can adjust the depth that you want to have as a depth stop for this distance here. This distance here. And of course you would correspond that with the distance here that you need. So that's a really smart addition. They also cut stainless steel, or this part cuts stainless steel. You can see how heavy duty this is compared to just this little cutter in there. Thing, which is the length of the handle. So you get a lot more, like it's like a 2/3 longer. And so if you blow out that logic and think of it this way, if the handles were like a 1 inch long, think of how hard that would be to press that in. And if the handles were like 3 feet long, it's super simple. So this is a really nice design. So just to show you how simple it is to change the inserts for different fret tangs, or fret crowns, sorry. The cover here has a window, a little circle, and you can see the number that you have selected when you put the insert in. So the insert numbers, they correspond to obviously the fret crown that you need to use. Number 1 is for 53 to 80 thou fret wire, and that's commonly used on either smaller instruments like banjos, ukes. Actually, banjos aren't small, but they use thin fret wire. Banjos, ukes, mandolins, stuff like that. And vintage instruments use that 53 to 80 thou, more 80 thou for the guitars and stuff. Number 2 is 84 to 95, which is the range that I use for fret wire and steel string guitars. And most modern steel string guitars are that. Number 3 is 100 to 106 thou, which is getting into electric guitar territory and basses. And number 4 is extra large, 106 to 110, so also that bass electric guitar range. So I use number 2, so that arrow just points to the one that you've selected, and then when you put the guard on, that circle reveals the number that you are using. Then you just tighten it up and you're ready to go. And it takes about, or it took me 2 or 3 times to get the depth of the guard just right to work with my purfling and binding. But once you've had that set, if you just use the same thing, then you just have to set it once and it's all ready next time. So the only way that I can think of to make these better, and they're both very, 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 very small, insignificant things, is to make that screw longer. So the second insert just can, live on the back of this, just so you don't lose that. The other thing is that this Allen key doesn't match, or it's a different Allen key to the Jaws Allen key. I would have just made those the same size, just the ecosystem of the tools. If I'm using this, I'm always going to be using this. So just, so I don't have 1001 Allen keys. That's exaggerating, it's 2 Allen keys, but 1001 will do. That's the only thing that I can think of that would make this, that I would change with this. The handle they're really good. They feel chunky and they're long and they're really easy to squeeze. You know, I talked about, you know, how many times you've got to do this and just to nip back the fret tang, and they really proved quite remarkable compared to these old ones. $58, $80. These are just, don't buy these anymore. Buy these. So I'm just about to use this just after 3, I think, trial and errors. I got the exact depth that I need for the fret tang to be cut back, at least for the first side of the fret. So that's going to be perfect. So I fit the first side and then trim off the second side flush. And then because of the depth gauge, the depth here, which I took about 3 goes, but now I've got it perfect. Now that is going to be really close, and there's going to be very little cutting back of extra fret wire. I can just put a semi-hemispherical end on that, and it'll be done. And, you know, times that by 21. But what I meant by getting it perfect is, let me zoom in. So the tang, you don't want it butting up against the binding, you want it back. You know, the width of that white line is 20 thou, and you know, 20 thou is half a mil, so at least half a mil. And when I put that in where it's supposed to go, you can see the the depth of the cut is almost perfect with the slight bevel that I do. You can see I put a bevel from the edge of the fingerboard to here. That's just to stop finish cracking or finish chipping off the sharp corner of the fingerboard, and it's also a relief for the fingers and the hand. But yeah, this depth stop acted exactly how I knew it would, which is beautifully. That is really handy. So I just cut 19 frets and it took about 10 minutes. So that's really quick for a bound fingerboard. Normally there's a lot more back and forth and getting this just right. So all these 19 frets, they've had both ends cut. The tang's cut, and every one of them fits perfectly. And so that saved me a lot of time. And yeah, this performed really well. It was what I expected. It was much easier to pull on or squash. You can see the size difference here. So fantastic, and these StewMac fret cutters work great with Evo Gold and stainless steel actually. But this is an absolute winner. I love this. It's my favorite new tool for sure. There's really, I can't think of any way to make it better. Really well built, well thought out. Somebody who actually does fret jobs design this, you can tell. And for the money, it's worth it. It pays for itself really quickly, and it's going to last for ages. So that's it for this review of the StewMac Deluxe Fret Tang Nipper. They are $80 and really worth buying. They're just fantastic. They're built really solidly. The handle's long and really easy to squeeze for a guitar job. They're obviously designed by somebody who actually installs frets, because everything is super well thought out. Just that depth stop is like just going to save so much time. It's probably saved like twice, probably saved 10 minutes, I reckon, just on the first job. So that's amazing. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this fairly in-depth review of the StewMac Deluxe Fret Tang nippers. They're excellent. Just if you work with frets, just buy them. They're $80 is simple, easy and done. Please like and subscribe if you so desire, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.